Hi, it's Heather, and I decided it was time to tell another story in my Based on a True Story series where I recognize memory is fallible, but I do have some photographic evidence of some of the crazy shit that's happened in my life. And if you're interested in previous episodes that I've done, they are on my YouTube channel, Heather's Full Catastrophe. All right, so it is time for the story about the pee ditch. So a little bit of setup. All right, so here's a picture of the cabin that I grew up in. And you see that this right here is a little boardwalk, because when it wasn't frozen, this was all muddy, and I have another picture of that. But so the door to the cabin is right in here. And there's a little porch, and right off the porch is where the menfolk in the family would just step off the porch and pee. So they'd be peeing right into this little area right here, right alongside the boardwalk. And here's a closer picture of the boardwalk. This is what it looked like in the summertime, all muddy and stuff. So this is coming right up to the house, and that's Rosebud. And I don't remember these goats' names. There's my dog Tita. Anyway, so yes, the men would just pee right there, right? Okay, so we're having a party. I'm just going to read the story because now I feel all like this was a very embarrassing moment in my life. And now I'm going to tell this story. Okay. To get into our cabin, you would walk up the boardwalk, step on the porch, and go through the door into the kitchen. Since the outhouse was around behind the house, Pete and the boys decided they would just rather pee right off the porch. Problem was, that created an area right next to the boardwalk where the mud had lots of pee mixed in. One day, we were having a party and a bunch of friends were over. I guess I was about 12. It must have been nice weather because everyone was hanging out outside. To make it easier for people to get water, we put a 5-gallon jug of fresh water at the edge of the porch. One of those weighed about 40 pounds when it was full, and I probably didn't weigh a whole lot more than that at the time. I was squatting on the edge of the boardwalk, trying to hold the jug with one hand, tipping it slowly over to pour some water into a cup. All of a sudden, I lost my balance and fell into the ditch with the jug on top of me. I remember laying there for a moment, stunned with how awful it felt to be lying in the pee ditch, and more water is pouring all over me. I don't remember what happened after that. I bet it wasn't easy for me to get cleaned up, though. We didn't have running water or a shower in the house. If I wanted a bath, I had to heat up water on the stove and wash in a big metal tub in the kitchen, or, if it was really cold, in the living room in front of the stove. I was always very careful around the pee ditch after that. Yeah, that was really freaking unpleasant. Oh, this was good too. Okay, I'll do one more story. So this is my little brother Kelly. This big bandage on his head. I'm going to tell the story of that in just a moment. This is also Kelly. That's me and Thomas. This is sweet. Okay. So the cabin was set in the muddy part of the property, so Pete had sunk large rounds of wood in the ground for us to walk on to get around to the back of the house. One day we were playing outside, and Kelly's boot, little guy, he's only a couple years old, got stuck in the mud, which caused him to fall forward really hard. He hit his forehead on the edge of one of the rounds, cutting his forehead very deeply. As he looked at me in surprise, just before he started screaming, I was able to see the white of his skull. Then the bleeding started. It was awful. Mom loaded all of us into the orange Datsun. Oh, that's why I put the Datsun on here. That must be the orange Datsun we were all loaded up into. Loaded us into the orange Datsun for the long drive to the hospital to get stitches, and Kelly still has a scar over his eye. So that would have been like a 45-minute drive. My little buddy bleeding all over the place. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I can do. That's all I can do right now. Sometimes I can't even remember. I can't even realize. I can't even believe all this stuff even happened to me. Some school pictures. I really liked having lots of patterns at the same time. So this was probably freshman year, sophomore year, junior, senior, middle school. I don't know, maybe 6th grade, elementary. All right, there's some stories for me. Enough stories for me today. Have a great day.